Good evening, this is the Oscar expert here with Brother Bro, and it's time to review Hamnet, directed by Chloe Zhao. This is based on the novel Hamnet, which is a fictionalized account of the death of William Shakespeare and his wife's son. This was a tremendously tender film. From the start, it begins as a romance from these two misanthropic souls who find each other and are, I guess, bound in ways by their strangeness and their ability to see things differently. Shakespeare, played by Paul Mescal, is a poet who finds ordinary work depressing, and his wife, played by Jessie Buckley, is thought to be a witch from many people because her mom was a witch, and she's kind of is a witch in this. And she is very inspired by Shakespeare's ability to tell stories. In the wake of their romance, they have 3 children, and about halfway through, tragedy ensues. I was really awestricken throughout by how well orchestrated this film was from a directorial standpoint. All of the crafts working together, the score, the sound, the cinematography, production design, just absolutely beautiful work from every department that felt like it was trying to reach as deeply into the soul of this story as possible. And for much of my audience, which was critics, people were absolutely crushed by this, devastated. People were just choking in the theater, like crying that hard. Personally, I wasn't at that level of utter devastation as some others were, but it is impossible not to feel just the sheer weight of this tragedy. And even if you're not quivering in devastation, the craft on display throughout these scenes and the pacing and the way that Zhao is bringing you into the story and really orchestrating the audience, like that's how I felt, is impressive. And I think in her direction, she absolutely earned the audience's tears. But just having to sit in that horrific space for so long can be a little bit uncomfortable. And there were some moments in the middle where I felt like maybe this is just sad because it's fucking sad. And even if this is one of the most well-made sad stories that I have seen, I wanted a little bit more to latch onto. Like, I wanted to know where this film was going. What is the purpose of putting us through the ringer like this? And really, I think it's the ending that is an absolute knockout, where I really got to a place where I felt like, wow, I know exactly what you're saying and why you're doing this. The final minutes of this film are astounding. They're just extremely well made. Yeah, Chloe Zhao really imbues every moment of this film with poetry. And I love the way that she paints the portrait of these two characters alongside their environments, you know, especially Jessie Buckley as Agnes, this forest woman, the daughter of a witch. And then Shakespeare, this man who feels a restlessness to get away from the forest and kind of belongs in this faraway place that we don't get to see that much of until Agnes herself enters it towards the end. I really do love how the environment plays into who these characters are. It feels very much like a spiritual tale of grief and of two souls who are dealing with it in their own ways and who don't understand each other's grief, and then the way that those two come together at the end. I mean, like you said, the ending is really beautiful, and you'll be remiss to find a dry eye in the house. I did feel like this movie really wanted me to cry for like a lot of it, and this kind of put me in a position as an audience member where I was like not quite there, and then feeling a bit at a distance from the movie due to that. The subject matter is so sad that of course I'm going to be sad. But the film isn't just interested in being sad, but sometimes with the music kind of playing up, it felt like it really did just like want me to cry at certain points. And I don't know.
No, I think it wanted you to feel the depths of the character's devastation.
Yeah.
And I kind of agree with you that in the middle of the film, there's no magic act that has happened yet. It's just that you are witnessing something horrible. And so of course you're going to be sad, but the real magic happens when you can mend the audience's heart back together.
Maybe I was also like a little bit thrown off because I feel like I knew how the story was going to play out, and I'd seen the trailer and I like kind of saw the moment at the end coming the whole time, and that's not really a fault of the movie. You know, and then it does play like On the Nature of Daylight, which is a track that's been a little bit spoiled for me by Arrival, and I feel like that movie kind of like has that track, and then every other movie that tries to use it is just like a here's where you cry moment. I feel like I'm kind of criticizing the movie for asking me to cry a lot, and at the same time I'm very much defending the movie on that it's not just about that, and it does have those deeper layers and symbolism, and Chloe Zhao is really careful with the audience. The pacing really breathes throughout. The shot selection feels careful and intentional, and we hold on certain moments until there's a great effect felt from them. And Lucas Zoll's cinematography feels like there's just so much breathing room, and it integrates nature and the texture of these sets, and is also great at capturing more haunting images full of grays and blacks.
I think the cinematography here is perhaps the best I've seen this year so far. Based on Nomadland, I was expecting a lot of steady cam and very fluid cinematography, a lot of camera movement, but here, some of the most stunning shots are these long takes that are completely stagnant. And the aspect ratio is very wide and tall here. I don't think it's 4:3, but it really fills up the screen. But those wide shots of the interiors in this world are just so much to take in, and they feel like the production designer was building a psychological space, and you can see the characters wrestling within the frames and dealing not just with the grief, but often with psychological illness. And the cinematography is often tasked with speaking volumes about what the characters are going through. Also, I thought the close-ups here were magnificent. The way that it holds on Paul Mescal, Jesse Buckley for sometimes minutes, just letting you absorb the drama in their face and let them tell the story was completely captivating. And also the score and the sound design was really thoughtful throughout. The sound design sometimes makes you feel like you're being put underwater because, again, the storytelling is so psychological that we have to kind of be immersed in almost ethereal space.
Paul Mescal and Jesse Buckley's performances are absolute powerhouses. They're responsible for conveying so much, and especially, I mean, that last scene, you just see Jesse Buckley go through absolutely everything. Yeah. It's like a really incredible performance.
Yeah, and they're only really telling the story through the faces, like, especially in those final moments, there's just like these cutting back and forth between the two of them. That's just beautiful. Just felt like pure cinema. Jesse Buckley is asked to go to some horrifying places here. I mean, I imagine this role was absolutely grueling for her, and she's just amazing in it. It's insane. But for me, Paul Mescal, like, some of his scenes helped me the most understand the story at its core. Like, there are some scenes where he is reciting some of his poetry, some of his lines from Hamlet, and I came to see those in an entirely different light because of the storytelling here, because of Paul Mescal's storytelling.
Also got to shout out Jacoby Jupe, little bro of Noah Jupe here, who plays Little Hamnet, and this kid was amazing.
Yeah.
I was like, who is this boy? He's just this man is a professional actor.
He looked like a tiny little guy, but he was amazing, and everybody I talked to after said amazing things about him. Like, they were just so impressed. This was like a really difficult child performance to pull off. Like, this was obviously a trained actor, but the kid felt really natural.
Yeah, it did not feel like a kid reading lines. There's so many movies where you can feel like it's a kid reading lines. I don't know how this was done. Emily Watson also has one of my favorite scenes in the movie. She's not in it a ton, but I think she does make an effective use of that screen time. Her monologue actually was one of the most, like, emotionally intense moments for me. Yeah, I really don't have much bad to say about this movie. I will watch it again, and the rating could go up for me. Me analyzing whether or not I like, should be crying versus how other people were, like, crying is maybe what made me feel this distance between the film, but that's not even the movie's fault, because I really feel like the movie deserves credit on just about everything. I'm giving this an 8 out of 10 right now.
I'm easily a 9 out of 10 here. It could even be a 10 on the second viewing.
Really?
Yeah, it's that good. I think the second viewing will also be illuminating for seeing even more about what Chloe Zhao is expressing. This is amazing. It will get lots of Oscar nominations. Let's talk about that.
This is one of the top contenders for Best Picture, no doubt. When you make people cry like that, it's kind of undeniable. Like, this is going to be some people's favorite movie of the year because it will provoke a stronger reaction in them than anything this year.
In a sense, like, it's so heavy that could hold some people back from, like, wanting to give it Best Picture. Like, maybe they don't want to watch it again, or maybe it just feels too sad for some people to go there. I don't know. But I think it's going to be lots of people's favorite movie of the year, and there is the possibility that it could win. I also think it's just stronger than Nomadland, and I think Nomadland's great. I just think this is like a whole other level. So even though she's already won a director Oscar, it would be totally warranted to give her another.
I think the fact that she won very recently may hurt chances of winning again.
Maybe.
And I know that, like, sometimes that happens, but with directors like Paul Thomas Anderson on the table, and perhaps Ryan Coogler, it may be more exciting to get behind those films. Jesse Buckley here is going to win the Oscar, and it's going to be a sweep, and it's not going to be close.
It's a clear Oscar front runner.
Clear winner.
Paul Mescal is it interesting because he could go lead or supporting, and we're just waiting on what the studio decides to do. I saw him as being a co-lead with Jesse Buckley. He may have 15% less screen time, but it's really not that significant, and he's obviously elite. Especially the way that the film climaxes and this whole third act, like they are very much two-handing it. There's only like one part in the middle where he is not really in the story.
He gets his own scenes though.
Yeah, whatever category he's in, he could win the Oscar.
Yeah,
he really could.
I think people may be underestimating that. I mean, I would say in
Yeah.
lead, like everybody who's on the table in lead is not going to win, and then people are just going, well, maybe Marty Supreme, and it's like, well, look, we haven't seen that movie, so like if he goes lead, he could win lead.
He could win lead, but he would also be facing off with Jeremy Allen White.
Jeremy Allen White's not going to win.
Yeah, he could.
No, he's not. And in supporting, he's facing some
Stellan
stiff
Skarsgård.
competition. Stellan Skarsgård and Sean Penn. I got to tell you, after seeing Sentimental Value, Skarsgård's great. I'd love for it to happen, but it's not necessarily the kind of thing that's a slam dunk.
I think I might have to put Paul Mescal at number 1 if he goes supporting. Screenplay, it's locked. It's facing off against one battle after another.
It's going to lose to Paul Thomas Anderson is my
Okay,
current
well,
prediction.
sure.
But yeah.
You know, take it easy, but it's top 2. Cinematography, editing, score,
Costumes.
production design, costumes. I would say sound's worthy. I don't think it's going to get sound. That would be a little surprising, but it could. I don't
Also-
see how it would miss any of those 10, and then sound is like a maybe.
Yeah, director's happening.
Yeah.
That's no question. And apparently the score is going to qualify. I think they re-recorded on The Nature of Daylight, and so this counts for some reason. I think about The Social Network and how they used some Nine Inch Nails tracks there. They reworked them, and I believe that this counts.
Yeah.
And apparently the studio thinks it's going to count. So I would be predicting Max Richter for his first
yeah.
nomination.
Did we even say that this is amazing work from Max Richter? Like,
said
I
it was.
love this score in this. Honestly, a lot of the categories, Hamnet is facing off for the win against One Battle and Sinners. So it just depends which movie comes on top to see how many Oscars this really could win. But
I think
I
Hamnet-
also think this could win cinematography, production design, costumes. I think those are all on the table.
These are categories that are typically won by bigger budget films. This is a little bit small scope for like production design win.
Yeah. Because they might get tired of giving it to Wicked, and this is their alternative. If Wicked doesn't win, this would win. Or Frankenstein,
Yeah,
I guess.
Frankenstein's huge.
Yeah, Frankenstein's larger scale. Fair enough.
And cinematography too. Like you also have to understand that's typically not an award that goes to like movies with gorgeous close-ups and like nature shots.
I guess so, but right now I'd have it at number 1 for cinematography, in fact. Because, what, Sinners is going to beat it? You think Sinners is going to win?
Oh yeah, I guess there's not like a ton of competition.
Yeah, there's not.
I have Hamnet getting 10 nominations. Buckley's the win. We'll see about Mescal. We'll see about cinematography. And Best Picture is very possible. I have this winning BAFTA Best Film right now. But with the One Battle reviews, you know, it's again, like the embargo has not lifted. I haven't even seen the movie. But I just imagine that if that movie really is, as people say, that giving that director and screenplay over Chloe Zhao, who won recently, is a little more like the thing to do. But I will not dismiss at all the possibility of Hamnet winning Best Picture. It's going to be the tearjerker of all the nominees, for sure. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing.
How devastated do you think you're going to be?